everybody, we're back. Another Cabral HouseCall. Every single weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, I answer your questions live on the show. That means I don't look at your questions ahead of time. There's no editing from my team. What you write is what I read. I love being able to tackle these community questions each and every weekend. So all things wellness, body transformation, anti-aging, longevity, high performance health. Let's dive right in. First question today is from Anonymous. If you want to follow along with the questions, head on over to stephencabral.com/2970 for today's questions. And while you're at it, if you haven't already picked up a copy of The Rain Barrel Effect, do so. It's completely free. You just pay for shipping. I pay for the printed book. All right. Anonymous says, "Hi, Dr. Barrel. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer listener questions every week. A little over a year ago, I had vaginal delivery with forceps. At my 6-week checkup, I was not completely healed and asked to come back another 2 weeks later. This went on until I was 6 months postpartum, every time having silver nitrate applied to the scar tissue. After 6 months postpartum, I was finally suggested to have a procedure done where I would undergo anesthesia and have the doctor remove all the granulation tissue. My question to you is there anything I could have done to help my body heal and avoid that situation? I already take daily nutritional support, zinc, vitamin D, omega, and probiotic. Thanks so much for all you do." Okay, so there's a lot that goes into this. I obviously was not a part, consulted on, had any idea what was going on here. All I can go by is the 5 or 6 sentences here. So basically what happened is that from a vaginal-based delivery with forceps, there was some scar tissue that was created, not abnormal. Conventional medicine decided to continue to use silver nitrate, and then you went under anesthesia to have some of the granulated tissue removed. Got it. I totally understand. Okay, it's not uncommon. It does happen. When there is scar tissue, there are things you can do. As it starts to become, I don't want to say more scarred, but denser, as it becomes more thick, the scar tissue, it becomes harder to dissolve it. So there's a few things that you could do. We use proteolytic enzymes for all things scar tissue, and proteins and necrotic tissue in the body does not need to have. They're literally called probiotic enzymes. You can find them at stephencabral.com/shop. We use them for cysts. We use them for all things like that. Okay, but again, no medical advice, no medical treatment plans, no medical cures, no medical diagnosis. We do that. We also do manual-based massage, meaning we recommend people, if there is scar tissue, manually massaging the scar tissue to help to break it up even in the earlier stages. What it also does is brings blood flow to the area, so that can be really helpful. Another thing that we do anytime there's surgery, we use the Clean Gut Probiotic, look like you were taking that one, then you transition to daily probiotic support, but we use a product called Healthy Gut Support. Healthy Gut Support isn't just for the gut, although that's a big part of it, right? It has glutamine, N-acetylglucosamine, zinc carnosine, I know you were taking some zinc, aloe vera, and others that help with inflammation, and they help with tissue repair. So we're a big fan of Healthy Gut Support. I typically do 2 to 3 bottles a year anyway, just good for the gut. So I add those in. And then of course, if you take antibiotics, it's a great one as well. So, there's so much we could go back and second guess on. I don't like second guessing. You're doing so great. These things, unfortunately, they just happen sometimes in life. We always wish we could do better, but here's the thing. We learn from it. We make sure we're better next time. And I appreciate you and all you do and all the hard work you're putting in. All right, Justin's up next. What are your thoughts on permethrin and insecticide or insectishield clothing? What are your best natural mosquito and tick repellents? I've heard geranium oil can repel ticks. Is that something you're familiar with? All right, so I've answered this question, but Justin, I'm going to answer it for you as well. So you can go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. The reason why I say go there, use the search box, because you could have got your question answered 8 weeks earlier, right? You have to wait for me to answer it live on the show. Ask it there or ask it at cabralsupportgroup.com and we'll help you find the podcast. So yes, I am familiar with insectishield clothing, and I don't know if I'm even pronouncing permethrin correct, but when I run in Maine, especially during the summer and fall, there is a lot of ticks. And I love running trails. And so I was given a pair of these insectishield socks that every once in a while I wear, especially in the fall, that I pull all the way up to my calves to try to keep the ticks off my legs if I'm running through grass or different like shrubs, things like that, which sometimes I am. But I'm obviously always worried about the toxicity from these insect repellents. Now, the nice thing about the one that you named, permethrin, if my memory serves me correctly, that one's from chrysanthemum. They also have one from geranium, which you just mentioned. But anyway, I don't wear those socks a lot, so I don't want people to think that I do. I don't. I literally had one pair that was given to me, and every once in a while I wore them after I looked at, like, it doesn't affect humans because we don't have the same nervous system that insects do. And so anyway, that's that. So it's a derivative of chrysanthemum flower. So what do I do? Well, I use my mosquito repellent and tick repellent that I have at stephencabral.com/resources. Not my company, but I recommend about 100 companies there that are all doing great work that I love. And so that's at stephencabral.com/resources. The page is always updated, so check it out. See if there's any ones that have been updated for you. And one of those is rose geranium oil. We use it for my dogs, and we use it for us humans as well. For my daughters, a couple drops right in the crown of the head. For a dog, same on the neck, and same around their butt as well. That's where you want to put that geranium oil. For humans, I put it on my socks. So that's where I put it, and then I'll put it anywhere else as well. Back of my neck will be one as well. And then I spray on the mosquito spray that I use. That, of course, is DEET-free. It's all natural. And inside of that, you'll find vanilla. You'll find citronella. You'll find lemongrass. You'll find geranium, all that good stuff. All right. So all of those are at stephencabral.com/resources. Anonymous is up next. I wanted to ask what it might mean when your bowel movements have little smell or no smell. After doing some research, it seems it could be due to lack of bacteria due to antibiotics. I do not take those and haven't taken those for many years. I did the CBO protocol the first month only a few months ago, but that's about it. If it helps, I've been diagnosed with dyspepsia. I have what feels like strange inflammatory, painful pressure in my sternum every day. It's very discomforting, with the feeling of fullness and cramping in my right abdomen and liver area. I've done 7 liver flushes before. I take 2 caps of mag nightly, full spectrum magnesium as well. I seem to get a lot of mucus coming up my throat throughout the day, even if I haven't eaten in a while. Thanks. Okay. So clearly there's something going on with the stomach, but let's go back to your original question, which was, why may a bowel movement have no smell? Well, a bowel movement typically has less smell, oftentimes, not always. The more fruits and veggies are in the diet, it's one thing that's just easier to digest, less time, less bowel transit time. But that's not usually it. It can be from lower amounts of bacteria. That is true. So the majority, over 50% of your bowel movement is bacteria. The more bacteria, typically, the more smell there is. So I don't disagree with that. Why yours has less smell, I don't know. I can't give you a good reason on that. But let's go to what is going on upstream, which is you did the CBO protocol, but only the first month. I'm not sure why. It gets a little bit stronger each month, and that can be very helpful, especially with citricidal drops. You may have H. pylori. Again, I'm not giving you a diagnosis. You might have a lower esophageal sphincter issue. You may have a hiatal hernia. I would make sure that you obviously do figure this out. You can go to a GI specialist, a gastroenterologist. They can look down your esophagus, look at the esophageal sphincter, look to see if there's a hiatal hernia. They can look to see if there's H. pylori, or I would run, it could be or, run a bacterial and parasite stool test. I want to make sure that you don't have parasites, you don't have H. pylori, you don't have bacterial overgrowth, you don't have fungal overgrowth. That's what I would do. I would run the bacterial and parasite stool test, 100%. And if you want, see the GI specialist, and then we can help on our end from a natural perspective. And then obviously, if you want to work with the GI, you can obviously work with the GI, okay? I've got lots of shows on the LES and hiatal hernias, all that. So if you want to go deeper, you can always ask for those shows. If you can't find them at stephencabral.com/podcast, we'll find them if you ask at cabralsupportgroup.com. All right, Laura says, hi, Dr. Cabral. Hope you and your family are well. Thank you, Laura. I hope you and your family are well as well. I'm interested in pumpkin seed oil, it says. Is that a healthy option? Not for cooking, but in my country, we always use it for salads. It's an amazing aroma and taste and is considered very healthy here. Lots of people make their own. It's a whole thing around here, but I'm not sure how healthy it is because you never mention it. I only heard it once on your podcast on how to add an extra 3.23 extra years to your life on episode 2482. It was part of the research. Please talk more about it. I'm interested in the difference between sunflower seeds, sun butter, and sunflower oil. The latter is unhealthy, but the other two are healthy, right? Could you please explain? Okay, so sunflower, sun butter, and even sunflower can all be healthy. The issue is the oxidation, and the issue is the level of omega-6s. Pumpkin seeds, unfortunately, are also higher in omega-6s. However, just because a food is high in omega-6s doesn't mean we can't eat it. It just means we need to balance it with omega-3s. So chia seeds, flax seeds, or even better, fish oil. That is how we balance those omega-6s. It's a fantastic way to do it. So now you can eat these things, and it's great. The problem is when they're turned into an oil, unless they're cold pressed, right? That's really important. Unless they're that single source, and they're in a dark bottle, and they're organic, then it may be doing more harm than good. So pumpkin seeds can be phenomenal. Pumpkin seed oil, let's be a little bit careful, more careful. Pumpkin seeds, high in zinc, high in natural iron. Great to be able to help with parasites, right? That's as a seed. As we go to an oil, we just have to be more careful that it's not oxidized. So it can be very healthy for you when not overdone and balanced with the omega-3s. But I would never be using all of the sunflowers and sun butters and all of that and sunflower without using omega-3s to balance it, okay? Erin's up next. Lung question. I was diagnosed with asthma and allergies at the age of 1. And still to this day, I have sinusitis and all kinds of sinus problems depending on the time of the year. The asthma has thankfully gotten significantly better, but I recently was listening to someone talk about the connection between dry skin and the lungs in Chinese medicine. This really got me thinking as I've been suffering with dry skin for a while. He mentioned if you have a lung condition, even way back as a child, you can still have an infection in your lungs. How would one go about getting rid of these old infections? I'm currently on the CBO protocol, not sure if this helps in any way. Hope this made sense, but it really made me think and feel sure this is something I'm dealing with. Okay, well, happy to help with this. So first and foremost, there's a lot of connection between the skin and the thyroid, the skin and the lungs. So it's not that I disagree with that. And I understand in Chinese medicine, it's something I've studied quite a bit and very much interested in it. Dry skin or oily skin and its connection with the lungs, connection with qi, connection with all sorts of different things in the body. Dryness as well as dampness, not moisture, wetness is dampness. So dryness and dampness are two things you're trying to keep balanced in the body. But it's not the only thing. So just keep in mind, dry skin is far more likely to be a lack of good quality fats, poor absorption of fats, low thyroid, many other issues rather than a lung infection. So I just want to throw that out. And meaning like throw that out there, it doesn't mean that there can't be something. And it's possible that maybe you took antibiotics when you were younger, maybe even before the age of 1, and that caused more of a propensity towards an imbalanced immune system, Th2 dominance. Maybe that was partially passed on, mitochondrial issues. A lot of these things actually, there is some passing on from generation. However, all of this can be dealt with. You're already doing the CBO protocol, which is amazing. This helps with the immune system and it helps with the gut for sure. The adult immune protocol that we use is at stephencabral.com/the-protocol. So we help with that. And what else? What else can I give you about the lungs? The sauna is amazing for the lungs. Deep breathing is great for the lungs. I can't give this I can't give medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis, but you may want to look into nebulizing or breathing in something that will help with any type of bacteria or yeast or fungus in the lungs. That's not something that I would go to right away, but it's something that you may use. You may even just think about doing inside of the sauna or a steam, some eucalyptus, some lavender, some maybe tea tree oil drops that you're just kind of inhaling in as a vapor, maybe even some thieves oil, which is a great one. That's definitely one that I've used many times before. And then there are great Chinese medicine lung formulas. And what's the one that I recommend? I can't think of it off the top of my head. I can see it right now. It's got a blue cap, white bottle, blue label. It's literally called like Wellness Lung or breathing or something like that you can find. It's the one that I've seen is on Amazon. It contains licorice root, etc. The one that we use in our practice is called Sinus Support, which can also help with the lungs. And the reason is it contains N-acetylcysteine and licorice root, which are two of the most powerful. So again, I can't give you any medical advice. From me, I'd be doing the CBO protocol like you're doing right now. Make sure you're doing the daily foundational protocol plus the immunity protocol. You can find those at stephencabral.com/shop. Daily foundation protocol, level 2 or 3, plus the immunity protocol. And then if you wanted to do an add-on, you could do Hist Pro plus Sinus Support. So there you have it. A lot to think about, a lot to look into. Hopefully that was helpful. Thank you so much, everyone, as always, for tuning into the show. You're the best. I appreciate you. Appreciate all the downloads, all the reviews, all the subscribes. Let's keep it going, sharing the show with others. And tomorrow I'll be back with a brand new Mindset and Motivation Monday. I'll see you then. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.